Anyway, Fiona, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome back to Stories in 2.
We're back again. Episode 2.
Season 5.
So in your big book update this week, you've started Fourth Wing.
I have started Fourth Wing and I am loving it. So I'm also not like really the biggest fantasy reader. I think that's definitely more your genre. But I'm about halfway through now. So I can say with confidence, the dragon, it's nothing without the dragons.
I think that's so funny because that's what everyone says. And I'm like, what's like, for me, it's never that, like for me in those sort of books, because there's an element of romance, it's the romance that it gets for me. So when everyone says, and there's dragons, I'm like, what's so good
No,
about
but we
the
did
dragons?
talk about this. I think we spoke about this, like, I don't think on a podcast episode, but we were saying, but like the dragons wouldn't be what attracts me to it, for example. But in this particular story, you get to a point where you're like, of course there's dragons.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I've hit. And now I'm into it. I'm really into it.
So will it be you'll just keep reading and get it finished this weekend? You're reading the physical hardback, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Very cumbersome.
Oh, is it? Is it now?
Yeah.
Would you say so, or are you just...
No, it actually is. In this particular, because it's quite thick and it's like a tall boy.
Okay.
That it is actually quite heavy.
I find your pinkies start to ache a bit from holding it, and it doesn't bode well for sleep, like bedtime reading either, I find, with a hardback.
Yeah, I've taken to reading on the couch, like kind of with my legs like up in the air kind of thing.
I do that too.
Yes.
Up on the back of the couch.
Yeah, so I
do that
kind
too.
of rest the book and then I put a pillow on top and then I rest the book on top. And I think
I do the exact
it's perfect for that.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, when I then take it to bed, it is a little bit like not the smoothest transitions, you know. But yeah, it was weird though, because it started off, and I will say there's a lot of action, but it's fast paced, right? So, you know,
from the get-go?
Yeah, pretty much from the get-go. And what I quite liked about it as well is, you know, the way, and we are fans of ACOTAR. Like, I'm not saying that I'm not, but one of my gripes with fantasy books in general, from what I've read, is there's a lot of explaining of things. So there's a lot of like giving you the facts about what happened 1,000 years ago, because you know that will come up, and sure, by the time it comes up, you'll have forgotten about it. And that sometimes takes away from like, okay, I get it about the ancestors, but I want what's happening now.
Okay, yes.
And like what I really like about Fourth Wing so far, now this might change again, I'm only halfway through it, but what I really like about it so far is they're doing it in a way, they're giving you the facts, but they're not boring you with them. So
it's not an info dump. Like.
Exactly. At the start of each chapter, there's a little intro that will give you a random fact from like the prophet according to the dragon trainers or something, you know?
Okay.
And then that is kind of like the little nugget that you might need for something in that chapter to make sense. So they're not boring you, but they're still giving you the information.
And it's also not 10 chapters later when it comes up again.
Exactly.
Ah, okay, very good.
And that's been a bit of a game changer for me.
Interesting.
So then the story is very much like, it's action paced, but or action packed. And then the one thing I will say is like, she goes through one trial. It's a little bit like the Vampire Diaries of being like, this is the most evil vampire in all the land. Yeah. And then they defeat them. And then it's like, but this is the most evil. It's a kind of like that. She gets through one trial and they're like, but you haven't passed this one. And you know, it is a little bit like that.
Okay.
But I'm not mad about it.
Okay.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad that that's happening. I
was like, hang on a second.
You're contradicting yourself.
Okay, interesting. So, General gist then.
Yes. So we have our main character who's a girl called Violet, and they've got, I mean, let me get my physical book because I butchered the pronunciations, and I am that TikToker, and it's like, when she went to and it's like, that's me. I don't take in the names. 1 second. Right. So it's this, so we've got Violet, like I said, and her mom is basically the head of this college, this brutal and elite world of Basquiat? Basquiat? Basgiath.
Okay.
Basquiat. Who knows? Wait till you get onto the dragons. There's no pronunciation on them. I'm like, who is this? So it's a war college essentially, and obviously it's set in this like fictional land, which for all kind of sense of like, this is the map. You get a map which I refer to regularly. This is the map.
Okay.
And then they're divided basically, and there was like the great kind of war between the two sides. So there is a little bit of rivalry, but there is this war college that they go to where it's split into 4 sections. Does it have the 4 sections? So you've got scribes, you've got riders. I can't even think of the other 2, but anyway, we don't need to know who they are because they haven't come up yet. Yeah, so there's 4 sections. So she is been training her whole life to be a scribe, and that was the one that she was supposed to go into, but her mom basically forces her to go to be a rider, and then you have to go through all of these challenges. So that's what she ends up doing. And then to be a rider, then like you basically are a rider for the dragons, and then you kind of pass all these tests, and then essentially out of all of the first years, like it's a little bit Hunger Games in the sense of like kill or be killed in many situations, like so
fair enough.
She goes, and one of the final parts of it, well, I mean, this is very much in the description of the book, so it's not really giving anything away, but part of like your tests, as part of like your entrance exams, they're not really entrance exams, they're kind of like Christmas tests of first year kind of thing. You have to be basically chosen by a dragon. It's called the threshing is how I pronounce it in my head. But you have to basically pair with a dragon, but the dragon chooses you. You don't choose the dragon. So the dragons really rule the roost at this school, and there's only like 100 dragons and like 160 students, and like if you don't get a dragon, then you have to basically go back into first year and do it all again, kind of thing. So then she's in first year, and then there's a rival from like the family that hates her mother in year 3, and then one of her like childhood best friends is in year 2, and yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm liking it.
So has it got strong side characters? I think that's where these books can sometimes fall down, is that like it's so focused on the main character that they don't flesh out the side characters well, and they're just very much carbon copy of every other book you've read.
I mean, the side characters haven't been fleshed out that much because there's
only started it as well.
Yeah, and there's also so much going on with her story.
Okay.
That I don't think there's been an opportunity. Like Rhiannon is her friend in it. Like if they went off and started telling me loads about Rhiannon, I'd be like, I don't care.
Okay, I get
you. Do you know, there's a lot there's a lot going on with
the main story.
Violet, and I think we want to stay in Violet's world for the moment anyway.
Fair enough.
Let me see if there's some other names here. No, they're giving nothing away, but it says everyone at Basgai has an agenda, so sleep with one eye open, because once you enter, there are only 2 ways out: graduate or die.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So, Fiona, I am a big fan so far.
Well, on your glowing recommendation, I have gone and paid the £12 for the e-copy. Like, I went on to Amazon, the paperback is only £10.
Yeah, I think like I paid about £10 for this.
The Kindle is, now I understand,
but also
pay people, but
because this isn't out in paperback yet, I don't think.
Well, unless it just came out, or it was a pre-order, but Amazon had paperback for 10 something today.
Oh, did they? Okay, well, I got this when you were over like in
That was a few months
June,
ago.
yeah. So it's been
Yeah.
sitting in on my TBR pile for a while.
And for £10 for the fans who've already finished it, and for you when you do finish it, the second book in the series, The Iron Flame, is coming out on the 7th of November.
Excellent.
But there is an excerpt now available. I think Rebecca Yarros, the author, I think if you go to her Instagram page or something,
Okay.
there was a write-up anyway, some article, there's a link on her Instagram to an excerpt for the new sequel, which is actually only a month and a half away anyway.
So did you say the 7th of November?
Yes, book 2. I think you can already, like I saw, you can already pre-order it on the Kindle.
Right, well, it's a Tuesday. I might have to take a little personal day that day.
If
this is,
although
I know, but if this goes in the way that you are telling me that it's going, then, the way that I think it.
I'm telling you, I haven't read it.
Sorry, I got distracted. My neighbour's bringing a right old crew out to her balcony, so I got really distracted. But if this is going in the way that I think it's going to go, Fiona, I could take the 7th off. I might pull a you.
Well, it flopped for me.
I know.
Big old flop. I'll never do it again.
Yeah, I know.
So my plan is to start it tonight. And
Yeah.
I think, and you were putting it off for so long because, one, we all have massive TBR piles.
Yeah.
And it's kind of big and daunting. Like you said last week, I think that the only reason you're starting it is because you're so many books ahead.
Yeah, I felt like I needed to get a little bit of a break in the pressure of trying to get, like, because I was like, I need to kind of give myself the room to be like, this might take me 2 weeks to read, and I need to kind of enjoy the process of it, because there's nothing worse than when you're trying to like speed read a book or kind of get through it really quickly to get on to the next one for your numbers. I actually really wanted to just have the time to take it in.
Yeah, you can't enjoy it properly. Yeah, you did it right.
So yeah, like, I mean, it took me about 2 days to read 40 pages.
And then have you sped up now?
And now I'm like, okay, I get it, because I do find with a fantasy book, the first couple of chapters, this might not be for everyone, but for me, I really, really need to like take my time with those first few chapters, because it's worlds that I don't know. It's names that are hard to, so it's kind of like just trying to place together who these people are. But now I'm flying through it. Now I'm on like 250 now. So I'm
excellent.
I'm halfway through it. And I don't want to. I nearly went ahead there and looked at a page, but yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to start it tonight. So if we've finished by next week, we'll do it next week. If it's the following week, we'll do it. But we will do a Fourth Wing book club. This season.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we could do it next week. Like if we.
Yeah, well,
like you'll have it finished. I don't see why I wouldn't.
Your pal here is on the front of it. J.L. Armentrout. Brutal games, grumpy dragons, sizzling sexual tension.
So tell me this, and then we can move on. The romance, I need to know.
Yeah, well, there's been no kiss or anything now so far, but we're building up to it, and something has just happened. Not between them, but something has aligned things quite nicely. If anyone's listening that has read Fourth Wing, you will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay. Is there tension?
Well, he hates her. He wants her dead. You know, it's kind of one of those things. And she's like, just kill me already.
I get you.
Yeah, it's one of those things. So yeah, I mean, I like their scenes together, definitely.
Okay, so Fourth Wing is dazzling you there anyway.
Yeah, really good. How's your reading week been?
How is my reading? Grand. I finished that book Before We Were Strangers. That's really my only main update.
Oh,
it was fine.
Yeah, you were telling us about this last week.
I had started it last week, so I finished it. I kind of it was one of those ones, like, it was good at the start, it really lulled in the middle, and it kind of picked up a bit at the end, but it was a little bit too little too late, I feel.
Okay.
If I was to compare it to any other book that I've read that in that kind of genre, I would compare it to One Day.
Okay.
In that it's very much spans a long amount of time, the soulmate sort of a thing, but it's not just There's more to the storyline than just them getting together and fighting and breaking up and getting together again, if you will. There is a little bit more depth to the relationship and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just found it did like 15 years ago and then it jumped back to 15 years to today. I felt that it just wasn't, it was probably too long of a gap in between.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That makes sense. Just the way they were still so kind of, she's always been the one sort of a thing. I was like, I haven't seen her for 15 years.
I know. The one that got away.
Do you know, everyone in his life always knew no one held a candle to Grace.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was never right, you know?
Yeah.
Like in the start, it's his ex-wife and everything. Like, even the way he talks about her, I was like, again, you haven't seen her for 15 years. But anyway, it was fine.
But yeah, we're going to talk about the books of the TikTok trend today, aren't we?
Yeah, we said we'd do the overhyped, underhyped, and appropriately hyped books. I was thinking of this yesterday, and then the word hyped lost so much meaning to me. I was like, is this even a word? I was writing it down. I was like, oh my God. But yes, that's what I've seen a good few of these. Now, some people are doing 5 of each. We said we might do 2 each. And actually, when I was doing it, I could do 1,000,001 for overhyped. Appropriately hyped. I have a couple of there. But on the underhyped, see, I'm still at the point where I don't, like, the only way to get ideas was from my Goodreads. So unless it's in my Goodreads, I could have read a book ages ago that I loved, but it just wasn't coming to me. So my underhyped books might not be new to the podcast, just putting it out there.
Oh, same. Like, do you know what? For me, the underhyped ones are ones that I don't see raved about on TikTok Book Talk that I think should be.
Yes.
That's how enough, I took it. That's how I kind of...
We may have the same one in there then.
I'd say we might, you know. I'd say we might. So which category do you want to go for first?
I'd say we go for overhyped first.
Okay. Mine are controversial.
I have one controversial one in there too. But I have 5 here, but I'll pick 2.
You have 5? Oh, wow. Okay, I only listed 2. My first one, now, the Book Talk community will not be happy with me. And I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. Mm-hmm. I'm just going by what it says on the tin. It was a little bit overhyped for me. Twisted Love by Huang.
I was hoping you would say that.
It's just like I enjoyed it. Now I didn't say it was rubbish, but
I did. I DNF'd it. It was rubbish.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't also get the hype about it.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's not even like, sometimes I feel with Book Talk, like the aesthetic of the book is a big thing as well. The cover's not even that nice, so I don't get it at all.
No, if anything, and I do think I will go back and read the second one.
Do you? Interesting.
Only because the second one, I've seen some things about the second one, and I'm like, oh, I think that could be for me.
I think people like the second one.
Yeah. So that would be my first one. I thought it was okay. I thought there were certain parts, but then actually, with the twist, I was like, I don't know. I think this time it might be a little bit unforgivable. Like,
okay,
do you know?
Right.
So yeah, and then
are we a bit old for it? Maybe as well. Is that showing our age?
You know me. When I love a book, I've said it many times. I know. For me, the sign of a good book is when I'm waking up in the morning thinking about it, when I have potential to have 2 hours sleep because I can't put it down, and when I'm in work, I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Like that to me, and it could be the shittest book in the world, you know.
But you love it.
According to like Goodreads or whatever. But if that's how a book makes me feel, then that to me is a sign of a good book. Now, the way that the Book Talk community were going on about this, I thought I would get that.
And that's what I was just going to say in comparison to the hype on TikTok.
Yeah, I just thought, like, I've read books that have given me more of that feeling. And then they're the ones I've put on my underhyped.
Yeah.
I mean, I think some of these book talkers maybe need to have a little read of these ones.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay,
so give us one of yours.
So mine could be a very controversial, Ciara.
Oh God, will it be controversial for me?
Not in a way that you'll like shoot me down for it or anything.
Yeah.
But one that, again, hugely overhyped. And even when I first read it, wasn't after any hype that it didn't live up to it or anything. I saw it from one video. I saw this from one video of someone being like, I've never cried so much at a book in my life. Went on, unbelievable, Goodreads reviews. And I went on afterwards, I was like, what? And it's The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
I knew you were going to say that.
Taylor Jenkins Reid.
Yeah.
And now I always preface this by saying, when I read this book, I was knee deep in a romance binge. I had only just gotten back into reading, and it was romance it was all I wanted. So maybe because it didn't give me what I was looking for at the time, obviously it's a very well-written book, but I was kind of thinking about this today, and like, none of it's really stayed with me. Like, I can get onto it with other books for my appropriately hyped ones are there, like, but there's things I know like that. I know if I've loved a book, if same as everything you said, but also 6 months later, there's moments that I can still remember vividly.
Yeah.
And I don't have that at all for this book.
I think, right, with Evelyn Hugo, so this is going to be also turned into a movie or a TV show, one of them.
I think so, yeah.
And I can almost guarantee you that once this is kind of given its screen adaptation, it's going to be all over TikTok of like little things that were maybe in the book that maybe you missed the first time you read it. Like little things that then make you actually kind of love it.
I reckon I will read the book again. I think I owe it to the book. That's the thing. I feel like everybody likes this book. It's not like something like Twisted Love where you go into it and you're like, I don't think it's badly written. Like, I didn't think Twisted Love was a very well written book, whereas I do think Evelyn Hugo was, but I just was like, I don't get the hype.
Yeah, okay. See, I did really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I listened to it though.
Okay.
So
right.
I absolutely know for me 100% that even though I really enjoyed it, if when it comes out and I watch it, I probably will have that like, oh my God, it's actually brilliant. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Maybe, yeah.
Sure, it's like the summer I turned pretty, Fiona. I am knee deep
in the TikToks,
in breakdown videos of like little things, and now I'm like, I need to go back and watch it again.
Okay, so have you your book number 2 of your overhyped books?
So my second book for overhyped. Okay, I don't think you're gonna like this one.
Oh.
I'm trying to do it on recent reads as well, because I think a lot of the older books I've kind of like mentioned on so many things that I'm like, okay, what's a book that I maybe haven't spoken about really? I'm kind of nervous. So a book I think is overhyped is Happy Place by Emily Henry.
I loved it, but I accept that you didn't.
It's fine. It's kind of like every other Emily Henry book for me. I
feel like Emily Henry is overhyped. Like, she has 4 books, 2 I liked and 2 I didn't really like.
Yeah. Like, I can also accept that Colleen Hoover is overhyped.
Verity is one of the worst books I've ever read.
No, I
didn't
hate Verity. We could do a whole discussion on this. I didn't hate Verity. It absolutely, for me, got me out of a book slump, and I read it in like a day.
Oh yeah, I don't think any Colleen Hoover book I've read all of them quickly.
Like, I remember I was going to a client. I was doing a shoot that day. I went to a client. And I was telling them, I was like, I'm reading this weird book called Verity by Colleen Hoover. So I think that book is what it is. I liked it. But yeah, I think Happy Place by Emily Henry, I liked it. Don't get me wrong. But the way that some people are going on about it, I'm like, it wasn't that good, lads.
There's nothing special really about it.
But it felt like it was nothing I hadn't really read before.
That's what I mean. It's very much it did what many other books did before it, if you will.
Yeah.
It wasn't groundbreaking. I'm still seeing people talking about Happy Place.
Same. A lot of people are picking it as like book clubs and stuff.
Like, I gave it 4 stars. I didn't give it 5.
Yeah, it felt, like you said, it kind of, for me, felt like every other Emily Henry book. There was nothing that like really stood out. I enjoyed it. I liked the kind of concept of it. But I didn't like I wasn't thinking about it too much afterwards. Like,
And again, like you said, if we're talking about the hype around it, like, and it was.
yeah.
And like that was a big one, being like, even in the run up to before it even came out, it's like some of those Blood and Ash books where like before the book even comes out, people are giving it 5-star ratings on Goodreads.
But is that not advanced copies? No.
It can be, or I've seen some people say giving 5 stars to a book I haven't even read yet because I know I'm going to love it. I have definitely seen those sort of comments as well.
Oh, go on. No, I haven't seen those.
I saw that. I remember, do you know what it was? It was when book 3 of Blood and Ash came out, and because I disliked it so much. And I went in and I was like, how are people rating it this high?
Yeah.
Apparently they're getting worse. But just like, if Blood and Ash, we'll move on then. If Blood and Ash was originally the 3 books that she said it was going to be, it could have potentially been my favourite series ever. And instead she said, I'm going to write 6 books and a whole 6-book prequel series. And after that, I goes,
You're taking the piss is what you're doing.
exactly. But anyway, we digress.
We do.
So, happy place. So overhyped for you?
Unfortunately so.
So my second overhyped book is so Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle. I knew you wouldn't like that. And most people love this book. Let's see what the rating on Goodreads is.
Okay, go on, you're entitled to your opinion.
We're shutting down this podcast.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, I for some reason gave it 4 stars. This is a book that after I read 4.21 with 546,000 ratings. The best book John Green has ever read. And
God, don't we know?
And this is a book that at the time when I really liked the first half, and I thought it flowed really well. And this is one where I liked the side characters. But I just felt more so not... This is a book that I read that I was like, so the girl is Sadie and Sam is the boy.
Yeah.
Where I was like, by the end of it, I really didn't like Sadie, but I felt while I was reading it that it was nearly like the author didn't really like Sadie either. She wanted us to prefer Sam. And I felt that the character was very let down by the author rather than the character being a bad person. I don't think she was. And that just kind of started to bother me as it went on. Like we started to get the second, with the points of view and stuff. I just felt that because of that, I think she was a little unfair on Sadie in the book.
Interesting, because I didn't really have that. Like when I was reading it, that wasn't really what I took away from it. I kind of got I got the flows in both of the characters.
Yeah. And it's this is the one about like they meet when they're kids and they meet in a hospital waiting room playing video games and they fall in love with video games and they stay friends and they end up in adult life creating video games together.
Yeah.
And that's like their jobs. And every video and stuff you see on this, it's people being like, oh yeah, I've no interest in video games and I loved this. And I think that's nearly kind of misrepresentative because I don't think that the video games, I think that's just a place setting rather than a plot point, if that makes sense. That's just the way, like,
I don't know if I agree with you in that sense because the games actually kind of paralleled a lot of what was going on.
Yeah, I know, and now that I think of it, and I loved like their first game and stuff. I think I loved the first half of this book, and I didn't love the second half. I think if I was to actually say exactly what it was, and this is a book that, as time went on, I liked it less. Some books I love, and I always love them. Some books I'm like, that was okay, and then 2 weeks later, I'm like, do you know what? I actually really liked that. This is one that, as it went on, I was like, maybe not.
Fair enough. You're entitled to your opinion, Fiona.
This is it. We wouldn't want to have, like, imagine we'd have fallen out on the podcast.
Imagine. Over tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow.
Yeah. So those are our overhyped. So if we were to go for our appropriately hyped books.
So I classified this as 2 books perfectly hyped.
Yes, yeah. Perfectly or appropriately. Yeah.
Okay, so the first one that I've got, I do feel you're a fan too.
Good.
We're coming into the season.
I think I know what it is. It could be on my list.
Oh, The Secret History.
Yes, bang on.
Donna
Yeah.
Tartt. I mean,
I didn't even consider it. It was first on my list.
like, I actually think I'm going to reread it, I think, at some point this year or in the next few months. It's
maybe an audiobook.
Yes, Fiona, that's a fantastic idea. That is actually a brilliant idea you've had. I'm 100% doing that. I think it's a book I think about regularly.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I do. I really, really love it. And when I was first reading it, I was like, oh, I feel like I might be a little bit disappointed because there is so much hype about it. But no, I think it's perfect.
It's exactly the type of character development I like.
Yes.
And the type of characters and the slight over dramatics. Like, I know everyone hates him and everyone in the book hates him, but I think Bunny is one of my favourite characters in a book. There's something about him and the way they talk about him and everything. It's brilliant. And I haven't watched it fully, and I think I mentioned it before, and it's probably worth watching, is that interview that Donna Tartt, the author, did around writing it.
Oh yeah, will you send me the link? I think I want to watch that.
Yeah, because this I think it came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
And basically how like The Secret History, they are studying the classics Greek classics in college.
Yeah.
And there's only 5 of them, or is it 6 of them? And it's a very exclusive class. It's very hard to get into, and their eccentric teacher. But specifically the Greek myths, and apparently she studied the structure and style of Greek mythology, and she tried to structure this book around it. So, for example, you know from the beginning that it's a tragedy.
Yeah.
And it's not so much what happens in the book, but how it happens. You know at the start of the book what happens.
Yeah.
That's something, and then the whole book is how they as characters came to be there and how it affected them. It's brilliant. So good.
No, it's so good. Like, I wasn't being sarcastic there when I was like, no, Fiona, that's a brilliant idea. That is actually a genuinely brilliant idea.
It's probably a good audiobook.
I'm going to listen to it. Yeah, 100%. And like, kind of in the same vein, like, I know you're not as big of a fan, but like, If We Were Villains, I kind of put them in the same, like, I mean, I think The Secret History is obviously a little bit more of a classic, but I think about If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio in the same vein. I think about it a lot.
Yeah, you loved it. I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Oh, no, it got me right in the feels. I love it. And they're actually turning that either into a movie or a TV show as well.
Just still converting these days, won't they?
Anything. And that's one, Fiona, maybe we could do reaction videos. I could fly to Ireland and we sit down and we watch it and we record it.
Fab, yeah. So that we can really break it down.
Oh, 100%. But yeah, I feel very passionately about those books.
Excellent. So were they your 2?
No, my second one. I can go into my second one now if it's easier. 2. I read this book in lockdown, and I don't know, I haven't like raved about it too much on the pod, I don't think. It has a lot of hype, but I also think it's one of those books that you either love it or hate it. And I can't remember if you read it and didn't like it, or someone I know has read it and was like, no, that was absolute rubbish. And I think it could have been you, but it is either you love it or you're not into it. I think it's The Silent Patient.
Oh yeah, I thought I didn't like that book at all.
Yeah, see, well, I did. I really like it. And
did you only read that in lockdown?
Yeah, I only read it in lockdown. Okay. Kind of when I was getting back into my reading just before Corrupt.
Right. Oh, right.
Just before
that
Corrupt.
Was the start.
Yeah. So I read The Silent Patient. And look, if I there's a lot of books, if I reread them now, would I have the same kind of love for them? Maybe not. But what it gave me the first time reading it is what I kind of benchmark it against. And loved it. And you know what the thing is? Like, I did not see that coming, the plot twist in it. And look, some people do. They're very observant of things and they see things coming. I don't even try and predict. It's not where my mind goes.
Yeah, I vaguely remember, but I don't remember specifically. I have it on the shelf here behind me.
Yeah.
Oh, that is like high praise. Let's see what it has on Goodreads.
I think it's 4 point something, but like I in my opinion, it is a perfectly hyped book because I did think it was brilliant. I remember gasping in the same way that I did when I read Gone Girl, for example.
Okay, 4.18 with
Yeah.
1.7 million.
Yeah.
That's hugely rated.
Like, I think that is well deserved. And in the same vein, like, I didn't put this in my Underhyped, but I suppose you probably could, is if you liked The Silent Patient, I really think people would like Blood Orange.
Okay, yes, you've spoken of this before.
Another book that I absolutely love. And it's one of those things that's kind of like Gone Girl and the Woman in the Window. Or no, it was a Gone Girl and the Woman on the Train.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I kind of get those confused. I kind of get The Silent Patient and Blood Orange confused.
Okay, interesting.
Similar,
yeah, but you liked both of them.
Similar setting. Loved them. And I'm pretty sure I read one after another.
Interesting.
Yeah. So,
because the reason I don't really the reason The Silent Patient I don't think got me as well as maybe it did others was because, like, similar to with Evelyn Hugo, wrong book at the wrong time, or maybe right book at the wrong time. But I had just finished not too long before the Secret Scripture by Sebastian Barry.
oh yeah.
And it's a similar-ish
Yeah.
setting, and I loved that book. So for me, I was like, oh no, The Silent Patient's like a poor man's Secret Scripture, if that makes sense. So maybe had I not read the other one, I would have liked The Silent Patient.
I hear you.
But that's it. We're all here. We're just here we're just having honest opinions this week, aren't we?
Yeah. Go on anyway. What were yours?
So my appropriately hyped, so The Secret History, I'm in full agreement with you there.
Yeah.
So this one, even though it's not a happy story, and I just think, I said earlier that I'd probably talk about it, but A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara.
Yeah.
Now it's, like your face there said it all. Like, and I think the reason, because it's long enough, and I just think the reason with it, that book will stay with me forever.
Yeah, I mean, the play will stay with me.
Yeah, and I can only imagine, I'd say the play is way more, what's the word, harrowing. Because I just find reading something is not the same as seeing.
Well, yeah, but
not.
reading, you like, I think we were saying it when we even spoke about when I went to see it. Like, you can skip over the tough parts. You can skim read. You can't tell them to skim through a scene, like.
No, and it's just not as in your face either. And I fully think that the play would be way worse than reading the book.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
I saw a girl on TikTok last week and she was on the verge, if not actually crying, about how there aren't enough videos about the content warnings to do with A Little Life and specifically around the self-harm and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that everyone, like, there's no real going in blind to A Little Life, I don't think. Everyone knows that it's tough.
I mean, I was scared to read it. I was like, how bad is bad? It's bad.
So I think even though it's devastating, it just, so when I was saying Evelyn Hugo, there's nothing that really stuck with me from Evelyn Hugo. There's several things from A Little Life that I don't think will ever leave me. And funnily enough, for anyone that knows the story or the book, there are flashbacks and there are present day. It's actually the present day stuff that I found more impactful to me than the flashbacks.
Okay.
It's really well written. It did, like, it was hard to get into. I felt like the first kind of, the first couple of chapters, it was really wordy or something. I remember trying to get into the flow of the book was difficult, but once I got into it, I was fine. Then I took a break when I got to one and it was like time left in chapter 5 hours. I was like, whoa, Nelly.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like 5 hours. And I think I took a break of two or 3 weeks and read something else in between. And then I came back and I'm glad I did, because where I took the break and came back was probably where it like lifted off into the devastation station.
Oh God, yeah.
But brilliant, appropriately hyped. It is worth all of it. Let's see what it's got on Goodreads.
Well, I mean, most people say that it's like one of their favorite books when they do read it.
I think it would be hard to. Yeah, I gave it 5 stars. It's got 4.34 with 500,000, but proceed with caution. Absolutely, like 100%. So that would be my first one, and my second one. And I wouldn't have said this at the time, and I do still think that the TV show is better than the book.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this.
Normal People.
Interesting. Yeah. It's
set in Ireland. I actually got shivers there thinking about Connell and fucking Marianne.
Yeah.
It's short. I read it in a day. I didn't even love it. It was quite overhyped at the time.
Yeah.
Or in the sphere. I read it at the very start of lockdown. I remember it was a really nice day, and I started it in the morning, and I read it all the way through. I have it here behind me. I'll see how many pages it is. It looks kind of big.
Yeah, it does look kind of big. Do you steal that from a library?
No, I bought it in the market. 266 pages, but like there's big borders on those pages.
Yeah.
And the show is so good.
The show is amazing.
The show is so good.
Do you know what I saw on TikTok today is that apparently Paul Mescal and Harry Styles are going to be starring in a movie together?
I've seen the trailer, yeah.
The trailer?
I've definitely seen something. Oh no, maybe Paul Mescal's in a different. No, Paul Mescal's in a movie with Adam Scott, the priest from Fleabag.
Oh right, okay. Because I was like, the trailer. The rumor only started today.
Sorry, no.
Fiona's gone
rumor
straight
will only
in.
spat it out this morning.
Fiona's gone straight into post production.
No, it's Paul Mescal and Adam Scott are in a movie together, but a bit of a gay love story.
Ah yes.
I saw a guy on TikTok being like, does anyone know where I can get the vintage sports shorts that Paul Mescal is known for wearing?
I know.
It's like
I've seen that, I think.
But yeah, normal people, defo.
Yeah, perfect. So the last one then is Underhyped?
Underhyped, yeah. Save the best for last. Ones that we just think we need to see more of.
I think we might have, I'm kind of guessing we might have at least one that's the same.
I definitely think so. Is it a series?
Both of mine are series.
Technically both of mine are series, but yes.
Okay, then
but
maybe
one of mine is the full series.
Mine's the full series too. Well, actually, interestingly enough, I'm referring to the full series, but I only put one book.
Okay, same.
Corrupt?
No. Oh, interesting.
Oh, I was thinking
I only
Devil's
didn't
Night.
put Corrupt because I was like, I think that goes without saying.
Okay, interesting. Because, no, again, kind of going back to what I was saying at the beginning, I went on this based on books that I think people need to be talking about on Book Talk.
Yes,
and I don't see people talking about it.
I don't see a whole lot of it. And I actually saw, it's the least I see of the Penelope Douglas. I see Credence talked about way more than Corrupt.
Yes.
Or Devil's Night.
What is up? But then I'm like, are we really in the minority on this one?
No, because then they see people who have read it and they love it, like your one Shelby, the English one. She says it's like her favourite series.
Wow.
And but I saw there's that Australian girl who drinks the white wine while she talks filthily about smutty books. And she read Credence, and all the comments were like, have you read The Devil's Night? She's like, no, I must get on it. I was like, you need to.
I know.
You're reading smutty books and you haven't read The Devil's Night
series. The Devil's Night series is just, it's dark, like, but I just love it so much. So that was my first series. Okay, go on. What was your first one?
It's going to be no surprise here, but The Crooked Sinners.
Fiona, that's my second one.
I never see this.
Never. I don't think I've heard a single person mention it. And I...
Except us.
Fucking love those books.
All three of them were brilliant.
Sorry, I cut across you. For anyone who maybe didn't hear, we're talking about The Crooked Sinners by Callie Hart. So it's Riot Act, Riot Rules.
Riot House, Riot Rules and Riot Act, I think.
Yeah.
1, 2 and 3.
Oh my God. They're...
And book number 3 will take you by surprise.
Pax? No, I knew. I knew.
I didn't. I underestimated.
I might read those again.
I'd love to, yeah. Maybe I will, because that's what I'm chasing, Kira. Those 2 series are what I'm chasing.
I wonder if they're on Audible.
I don't know how I feel about a sexy.
I know. Well, when I listened to
in the car.
When I listened to the XX, I was out for a walk one evening and got to a scene and I was like, I feel very uncomfortable. So yeah, Ride House was my second one. So what was your second one?
Magnolia Parks, Jessa Hastings.
But Fiona, that gets quite a lot of hype.
It does, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Because I've seen people give out about it.
You tell me there now.
And I read, so, but the thing is as well, there's 4 books. I still haven't actually, book 4 wasn't the best, right?
Yeah.
But the first 3 books I read, I didn't read book 2 in a day, but the 2 Magnolia books I read in a day. and I just ate them up. And it's an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
funny. It's well written. Really good characters.
Well, I did tell you I downloaded it.
Brilliant.
I'm
She said it was
gonna
Kindle Unlimited.
I'm gonna read it after Fourth Wing.
Because you know what I love in it as well?
Go on.
And I think I've said this to you before, that I love text messages.
Yeah.
They're like, a lot of the chapters might end with the characters just texting each other and they're really quick. But in comparison, I don't like emails because I think emails are long. And I'm like, I like the quick to and fro of a text message.
Yeah.
Oh, like I smile when I think of Magnolia Parks. I just think it's brilliant.
Okay. Well,
so
look,
good.
I mean, you're selling it to me.
Yeah, look, if I read Fourth Wing, you have until the 7th of November. I think it would be a perfect little follow-on book.
Yeah.
If you have it.
7th of November. What do I've got? Oh, for Fourth Wing.
Book 2.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
I was like, why are we not recording until then?
And come here, if we're going down that road of you mentioning Corrupt, a books that we've spoken about here before, then I'm going to have to give an honourable mention to the Fever series by Karen M. Moaning. That's definitely underhyped.
Oh, Fiona, I've
in
seen
my
it.
opinion.
You're the only person I have seen talk about this book ever.
So good.
I don't
The
even think
series-
I know what the cover looks like.
Oh, it's fairly it wouldn't be the most over the top or anything.
Yeah.
But that as a series, as an overall series. Now, this the other thing is, if you go on to Goodreads, it says that there's like 15 books in the series, but actually there's 5 books in the main story, and it finishes up, and then all the rest of them are just kind of
Standalones.
add-ons. They're not.
Okay.
They're not even standalones. They're still kind of follow on, but to me they don't exist. You read the first 5 books.
Okay.
Those were ones that I couldn't put them down.
Yeah.
Like all day long until I was finished them. And when I finished one, I straight away started the next one.
But you remember when we were reading, and sorry, just to go back to it, but kind of like when we were reading Corrupt, I would read, I had the shortest little cable for my Kindle to charge it.
Oh, to charge it.
So I'd be up against the wall because I couldn't wait. And I'd be like
so addictive.
up against the wall reading it while it was charging. And then my Kindle actually was giving up on me when I was on the last book.
Oh, you're to replace
And
it.
I was panicking. And Tom was like, okay, calm down. And I was like, no, Tom, like you don't understand. I was in such a panic. He went and bought me a Kindle.
Had to be done.
It had to be done.
I'm still chasing that Corrupt dragon.
I know.
Do you? Do you know?
I know.
Yeah, I think we were right to save the Underhyped to last because they're the ones that you get.
They're the ones
excited
we have
about.
the passion for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, like you say, when I like something, by God, do I like it.
But like, do you know what?
And I'll sing its praises.
And also, like, one of my favorite things about Corrupt is, like, first of all, it really brought a community together with me, you, and Julie.
Yeah.
Because she was reading them just as much as we were. And, you know, when you're like giddy texting, like every couple of chapters, we had that because we were all on that same book. So you were a little bit ahead. And then I'll never, ever for the life of me, and we are trying to find something that we're just as passionate about. I'll never forget the PowerPoints that Julie put together with the casting. I will never, like the young cast and the older cast, and like Fiona, with such passion we were critiquing it.
Oh, and like shooting him down, like, no, that doesn't work.
that is
yes,
not
no.
him. That is not Will.
Yeah.
No. Like I had such...
I think about Will like once a week, I'd say.
Do you?
I would say, yeah.
Is he your Roman Empire?
Him and Castile.
Yeah.
I think about Castile all the time.
Do you? Even after
It doesn't exist.
the flop that is that
3
series?
to 5 there's 2 books that exist in that series. As far as I'm aware, it's unfinished. It got cancelled after its 2nd season, as far as I'm concerned.
Do you know what you should do, Fiona, right?
What?
You should be challenging JLA and pulling manacles. You finish
do a fanfic.
You finish the story.
Yeah.
To like how you think it should be finished. Like you have so much passion in you.
Love it.
I think you should do it. I think you should at least consider it.
I'll have to start writing down a few plot points. Yeah.
Do you know what? Like, put your money where your mouth is.
I have gone, but while I was waiting for book 3, that year was a long year. And what a letdown it was. I did go looking for fanfics for
do they not
Blood and
exist?
Ash. They do, but they were a bit too, they weren't great. Not the ones I found.
Anyway, I'm going to start a petition here. I think, Fiona, I think you need to finish the book.
Just do the third book.
Just
in the
do
series.
a third one.
What it should have been.
What it should have been, how it should have ended, where it should have gone.
God, I'll have to reread the book so to try and refresh my memory.
Pull a send Lou. Send Hugh.
Send Lin Yu.
Send Lin Yu.
Yeah. Interesting.
And do you know what, Fiona? The world is your oyster then. You know, you've got your characters, you've got your world building.
Wattpad. Fire up the Wattpad.
Get it up.
You know? No, I don't have that sort of brain power. Are you all right?
Yeah, I am. But it's just like you could take out that little voice thing and you could be like, get it up. Oh, which is kind of funny.
God, I might reread The Riot House, you know. I did like it.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And I think enough time has passed for a reread. Although, no, I'm going to start Fourth Wing. The second we finish here now, I'm going out to sit in the couch and I'm going to start Fourth Wing.
The absolute second?
Maybe, yeah.
Good.
I've nothing else to do.
Yeah, no, neither do I. Tom isn't even home yet. Although my neighbours are having a wine in the garden. I could join them for one.
Yeah. Or you could read your book.
Yeah, true. I was up until 1 o'clock last night reading it. And that's on a school night. I
say get back at it.
Yeah, it's true. Well, this is true.
So yeah, okay. Have you any honourable mentions or?
No, I think I did. My kind of honourable mention for the week is definitely Fourth Wing.
Okay, that's what's taken up your time.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. I forgot to say this last week, but I'll say it this week. Follow us on all our socials. Or email us at storiesand2@gmail.com. Instagram, TikTok, storiesand2. Like, rate, subscribe. Wherever you get your podcasts.
Absolutely.
Happy reading.
And read Fourth Wing.
And let us know what you think of our... have we got unpopular opinions here?
I think we might on some of them.
Agree with us or disagree?
Yeah.
Sure, we didn't even agree with each other on some of them. So.
No. I won't forget that, actually. Okay, bye.
Go on. I'll talk to you later. Bye.